Who's this guy Thoreau? The Tony Award-winning musical The Tap Dance Kid is now playing, as I sit here, in Los Angeles, and after a long and really successful run on Broadway. And as you might imagine, a dancer's delight is what that show is. It features tap dancers in all sorts of get-up and all sorts of bare feet and sneakers and ballet slippers and all kind of high heels. Roller skates, tapping with roller skates. Not since Fred Astaire did it has anyone tried that. And those are just the men's tap shoes. The star of the show, I guess, fills all those shoes with grace and elegance and admirably. I'm delighted he's here. I was tap dancing for the audience during the break, and the audience is half the size it was before. Will you welcome Mr. Hinton Battle? Just follow me. I can never get back. That's the only thing. Have a seat, Hinton, where perhaps they can see or hear us. I fish with this on weekends. I envy your feet, your talent, your looks, everything about you. And I think certainly one of the great cliches of show business, you know, is the stage mother. Can you accurately quote what I read about your mother?
Okay.
I don't want to blow it.
Well,
what she said to you?
She said, either you become a performer or you're grounded for the rest of your life.
Because a lot of mothers' greatest fear is, you know, that a kid would want to go into evil show business.
Oh, no, she couldn't wait. She said, great, he'll get out of the house, I'll get rid of him real quick, you know.
And so you did. You just walked out and became a star. It's that easy, right?
Sure, right. No,
yeah.
No, I had a
where have you
time.
paid your dues?
Where? Boy, a lot of injuries. I got into this by accident, actually. After all the lessons, I wanted to be a ballet dancer. And
you took ballet,
yeah,
which is about the hardest thing a human being can do.
Oh, but I loved it. It was great. Yeah. I really loved it. And then finally got to company class for New York City Ballet. Balanchine turned to me and said, "You're too short." And that was the end of that.
You know how many people would give the right arm just to have Mr. Balanchine say you're too short? The late Mr. Balanchine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got into Broadway because I went auditioned for a course in The Wiz. And they asked me to go on for the Scarecrow, which is starring the role.
Right.
And I went on for the second act because he got ill in the first act. And 20th Century Fox was backing the show. They came backstage and asked me if I wanted to keep the role. And that's kind of how I got into it.
You said, let me think about it?
Yeah, I said, give me 5 minutes. And
that was cool. Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. You let him sweat a little?
Just a little. Not too long, because they may change their mind.
I guess the curse is off a man being a ballet dancer now. I mean, years ago when people thought that automatically meant you were a sissy boy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. I had
guys like Bilella and D'Amboise
and Baryshnikov
and Ray, all the guys who dance. And it's everybody knows this, but there's no athlete, with the exception, I guess, of a gymnast, who's in the kind of shape and for whom it's as hard to look good as it is in ballet.
I think ballet dancers even in better shape than a lot of athletes because athletes, they take time off of you.
Baseball players with big guts.
Yeah, you know, and they take time off. They work out. But a ballet dancer, I mean, you're going 3 and 4 classes a day, year in, year out. You don't stop.
And they're always pale ballet dancers because they never get out and oh, forgive me. I really, no, I mean,
I was pale too when I was a ballet dancer.
No, in New York, around Lincoln Center or wherever out here, you can always see the dancers with their bags. They're just, in the summer, they're white as your shirt because all day they're in class.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah. But that's why they look young, because sun ages the skin. You hadn't tapped, but when you suddenly had to tap.
Right.
Isn't that right?
Yes.
That's not just PR, that's true.
I wanted a job.
How did you have the nerve?
Well, they were having auditions for Sophisticated Ladies.
Yeah.
And I was doing dancing at the time, and dancing is a real hard show to do.
The show dancing.
The show dancing, Bob Fosse show.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to come in and do a tap number. So I couldn't tap. I didn't know how to tap. I told Gwen Verdon that I needed to do a tap number for this, and she said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Come over. We'll put something together." She saw me tap, and she said, "You should worry about it because you're gonna be in trouble."
You were talking to, I guess, one of the 3 great dancers of all time.
So that was a thrill in itself, you know, just to have her helping me out for that.
Yeah.
And we finally figured out a number that I didn't tap very much, and I went in and auditioned. And when it got to the little tap break, I got real light on my feet, and they would bend over to try to hear the taps. And as they would bend over, I would get lighter and lighter till I got to the end of the number, and I started singing again, and it was over. And they thought, oh, it was great. And I did a lot of style, and nobody knew that I couldn't make a sound. I did it with sneakers. So.
Tapped in sneakers. That's the hard way, Mr. Battle.
But you couldn't hear anything, and it was,
So they figured he's probably making great taps.
Right. Right.
You're smart, because all actors know, if they say, can you ride a horse, actors say, yeah, I ride, and then they go out and try to learn to ride between then and their job.
And then I got in class and started studying, because I knew once we hit the stage, there was no way that I'd be able to fake it.
Is anything more fun than tap, really, though? Once you start getting it, it's...
Eating is a lot of fun.
Eating is fun, too, yeah. I remember a guy I went to college with, very rich. I hadn't thought of this in years. He wanted to learn to dance. He went to a class in New York. I mean, he was wealthy beyond it. And he went to this class, and of course, he never carried any money, so he had to borrow to pay, and then he paid the guy back. Afterwards, he came out and he said, you know, the people in that class were learning to dance in order to get food to put into their mouths.
Yeah.
It's a whole new insight.
Really? You couldn't...
Stunned him. He never,
Yeah.
Different level of society.
I ate tuna fish for a long time. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert, I would splurge and have a can and a half of tuna fish.
You're making me so hungry, we got to take a break. We'll be right back. You're going to like this. Before I show you all my best moves, I'd like to bring out a couple of my students. They are the youngest and oldest stars of Tap Dance Kid. Probably you can tell which is which. This is a little number about getting the inspiration to dance. It's called Tap Tap. And here are two legends in their own time. Dule Hill is one half of the, who is the young man in the show, and one half of the Nicholas brothers, and I mean the genuine, legendary Nicholas brothers. Here is Harold Nicholas and his friend, Tap Tap. Dule Hill.
You get that? Okay, time step. Hey, wait a minute, hold it! Where you going? Take it easy. Come on here with me. Let's go together. Yeah. Shuffle off. Personality. Yeah. Draw that. Crossover now. Double time. Break.
We can all sit here and perspire audibly.
How are you, Dick?
Oh, what a pleasure.
It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time.
It's been a while, yeah. Well, I've been
You know,
practicing. And
It's a pleasure to be on your show, after such a long time. But I've always wondered, because I've watched you many, many times.
Have you?
For a long time.
Yeah.
When in New York.
Yeah?
And I was just wondering, why so late?
Oh, why was I on so
Why
late?
haven't you had us on before? No, brother and I.
Oh, well, we were waiting till you got real good.
Oh, I see.
Do you want to know do you want to know the honest reason? I guess it's because, if there is any reason, it never occurred to me that the Nicholas brothers and I could be in the same room with each other. I just think of you as gods up there somewhere.
Oh, please.
It's
Doc,
true.
love
That-
that. Thank you very much. That's a nice
It was that and the
Appreciate
fact that we had $48 to spend in the whole show.
$1.
No, I didn't mean to embarrass you or anything like that, but I just thought I'd throw that in, you know.
I would have had you daily if I had my way. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank
And
you
your
very
friend here, you have no generation gap problem, do you, talking to each other?
No, not at all. Dule, he knows everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. About show business already. He's there.
He tells us.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Sure. This, you know, he
Oh,
wanted to do
does-
he says, Harold, he came to me, he says, listen, instead of just doing a thing like that, he says, why don't we finish up and do a split? I said, you're kidding. This time of day, do a split? In fact, we don't have much room down there anyway. But he wanted to do the split, and he can do it, too.
He can do
have
it.
you seen our
I
show?
guess the first time I ever, you know that I haven't, because
I know,
we were talking about that because I'm a New Yorker. I figured, well, it'll always be there, and then the show closes.
Yeah, surely.
But now I got a chance. I'm going to see it here.
I hope you do.
I forgot what I was going to say, but I guess the first time I ever saw you and your brother
Yeah.
go over a table and land in split position. You know how many people you nearly killed who went home from those movies and tried to do that?
Yeah.
Oh,
people
did I
have asked me-
imagine that I saw you do that, or have you done that?
Over table? Well, maybe yes.
Off the
possibly
table?
everything
Off the table,
else.
off the
Possibly because
stairs, you-
when we were doing the movies, you know, our dance director figured that we could do anything, so
Yeah.
he just put it together.
And it was
so
true.
whatever
It is true.
he wanted us to do, like if we had to come from the balcony up there down into a split.
In the show now,
We would do it.
Monica Page and I, we do class act together. And at one point in the number, we go down and crouch down on the ground, and he jumps over us, two of us, in a split, and lands.
How do you do it at 48?
Very carefully.
Very carefully. When I think of the people that you've known, I mean, it's just if you kept a log or a diary, it would make 12 volumes of the best memories,
Oh,
I suppose.
wow.
If there's any legend you can name that you guys haven't worked with, is you and your
Oh,
brother.
yes, just about all of them.
Did I say you guys? I mean, you gentlemen, of
Hey,
course.
thank you very much.
Did they treat you all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many people did you beat out for the part? Not that that's the important thing.
About 500, I imagine.
500.
Not more.
Was if not more?
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, for when I auditioned for the Broadway show, it was 3,000.
Ooh.
3,000.
There were
Oh,
kids coming in from everywhere.
yeah.
There were little Willies everywhere. Yeah.
But you're the man. We'll be right back after this. I have three gentlemen with me, three rude men who've all made jokes about my dancing during the break. And against my better judgment, we may all get up and dance a bit together. Of course, there's no way I could have known the old Cotton Club, and I can't have Mr. Nicholson here without asking him just a moment about it.
Oh, really?
Is there anybody you didn't know in those days who played? Was it anything like it? We think of it now in the movies and so on.
Well, the only thing that was
Did I say
comparable-
Nicholson?
Huh?
Did I say Nicholson?
Nicholson, yeah.
Please,
Nicholas.
please forgive me.
That's perfectly all right.
Call me Cabbage or whatever you like.
sure.
It's still Nicholas, isn't it? Carry on.
No, the set, you know, the Cotton Club floor and everything,
Yeah.
and the entrance to the club, all that was very authentic, you know. But that's about all there was, you know.
Yeah.
It could have been, to me, it could have been much more musical, much more singing and dancing.
Yeah.
They left out a lot of stuff that should have been
They had
in
a
there.
lot.
Perhaps there's still room
but
for
they
that.
didn't
Yeah,
put
but
it in there.
it wasn't.
I did a number on
The
it.
way that you did?
Yeah.
I didn't see you.
I have it on my wall.
You do?
It's cut
Oh,
out.
really? They
But
cut
you have a
out?
record deal now to
I
help
have a
make
record
up
deal
for that.
to
That's
make up
nice
for
to
it.
know.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Monsieur, yes, sir.
Pardon me. I saw you once when you were doing with the Copacetic.
Yes.
And
Do you know that I'm an
You
honorary
did a
member?
dance with him. You are an honorary
I'm an
member?
honorary member of the
Well,
Copacetic.
glad to meet you.
I'm
So
one of
am
the
I.
few au fait cats who's a member of the Copacetic.
Yes, now.
You were
Go
gonna
ahead.
ask?
No. After you.
Tell me what you saw me do
Sure,
that,
sure.
that impressed you so.
You were doing a tap dance and almost like a Dule and I were doing a shuffle off or something.
I did, yeah. Well, the great Honey Cole.
Yeah,
That's become
yeah,
his name
'cause
now, the great Honey Cole. And I worked out a number, and it's inspiring, you know, just to be with.
Well, why
excellent.
don't you teach us the number that you worked out with him?
Oh, you got it. Come on now, don't you?
That'd be great.
Come on, why not?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I can show you a step that I did that impressed him. That's
All
rather
right.
eccentric. Should we all step down stage and?
Yeah.
Rather eccentric.
Now this.
Whoa.
Well, try to make it look hard. Don't pick it up right away. Now here's one that a lady taught me, named Amelia Gilmore. It's an old-fashioned step called the Lancashire time step. I don't think anybody does this, and it's done to the Irish jig, and it goes. You okay?
Yeah?
We've got them in the aisles.
No, but
It's like this. Wait a minute. With a great dancer, you have to show his whole body.
right.
And then... Hey, how about that?
Very good. Well,
Now,
here's what. You do a time step for him. See if you're
I just know the simple one.
You do.
I can never learn that.
No? Dule, do a time step. Let's see yours. Time step. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's the same. That's the general thing
That's
that
the-
you do.
yeah.
But then you can mix it up yourself if you want to. It's the same thing.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah,
Jack Benny.
Jack. Now let me see yours again. and we'll
Go
all
ahead,
do
anytime
that.
you want to start.
Well, here we go.
That's truly inspiring. Da dee da dee da dee da da dee da dee da dee da da dee da dee da.
And then you do shave and a haircut.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that? There's one honeycomb. This is the all-purpose finish, which I think is rap-tickety-dap, boom, boom, ba.
That was it.
That's
Shaving
sort of,
and haircut.
is that
That's
shaving
what
and
we call it,
haircut?
shaving and haircut.
And then there's one called the BS chorus, that as the dancers
you
call
know all
it.
that too?
How does that go? Is that a standard?
That's a standard.
Does each
BS
dancer
chorus.
have his
Yeah,
own
BS chorus.
BS chorus?
What's that
I think
one,
they do it
Well,
that.
that's one. Yeah, they put a little extra into it. What did they teach you?
Oh,
Part of it.
I just stood back in awe when he did it. But he and I did a soft shoe, and
Teeth and two thing?
and then the copacetic walk around, which
That's
I remember that.
which the nicest part of which, you know, it starts like this, dee da dee da dee da dee da, and then switches to da dee da dee doom da da dee da dee dum da da dee da dee da da, then da dee 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 da,
have the whole routine.
and so on. And then, but then the fun part is, I think, is
Come on. Yeah, very good.
and then we come down to the center. Do you mind our rehearsing on your time? With da dee da dee da dee da dee da dee da dee da, and then it's.
Whoa.
Yeah, we got another one. Dum da dee da da dum da dee da da dee da da dee da da dum dee da dee dum dee da bum dee bum dee da dum da dee da da dee da da da.
Hey, bravo.
Help me. Well, let's see. How can we get off big on this? Maybe you have a minute or something you could do for us.
Wait a minute. We're not together.